You are watching Gold. I was born in a fairly fair home, very humble, I would say. That was back in 1982 in a province called the Eastern Cape here in South Africa, in a very small town called Mthatha. So everything about me is small and humble. Growing up was pretty interesting because I was the only child for a good 14 years. And the first 8 years of my life, I lived with a mother and a father. Then 8 years later, I only lived with my mom. My parents divorced at a very early age. So that's my life, and that was one of the greatest traumas that I experienced in my life when my parents divorced. I think that's one of the worst things a child can actually go through. I fortunately started creating my own world because I was very young. I still believed I had parents. I believed I had more siblings than I had. Well, I was the only child. And that was my life. I lived in my own story. I started writing my own story in my own mind. And that's how I coped. That's the beauty about being a child. Children are visionaries. They can just create their own world, no matter what circumstances they are in. So that's what I did to cope. I had a father in my own mind, I had a mother, and I lived in a beautiful home. I had siblings, and that was my reality. Sure, coming from a black home, most parents want us to be lawyers or doctors and chartered accountants and so on. I think that's the typical challenge of being a black child. I was raised by a lady who worked as a civil servant for our government. That was my mom, and my dad was a principal for a high school, and then he eventually worked as a DG for Department of Arts and Culture. And having such parents, obviously my father was a principal, he wanted the best for me, and he wanted me to maybe be a lawyer, which was something that he wanted to pursue. And none of that came through. I had my own mind. I mean, at 8 already, I had my own world that I was living in. So obviously, choosing my career pathing was not anything that they wanted. So yeah, being a black child, you are expected to be an engineer, lawyer, accountant, or a doctor. So I went through those challenges, but that's not the path I took. I think the best person was my mom, because I lived with my mom anyway. You know, God has got a very special way of working. He knew what was right for me, and living with my mom was the best, because I am a woman myself. I had to learn how to become a woman. And obviously I did miss my dad a lot, but I was so blessed because my dad made sure that he visited me every weekend. He did not desert me like many fathers do out there. He was present. He was fully there. So even though I come from a divorced family, I had both best worlds. I experienced having a father. I experienced having a mom. So it was not that bad, but yeah, you always wish that you could see your parents both living together as any child. The greatest lesson is that sometimes relationships don't work. But if you have Christ as your anchor in a marriage, nothing is impossible. That's what I learned. If it wasn't for the divorce, I don't think I would have had the relationship that I have with Jesus Christ right now. So I'm grateful that maybe my parents divorced, because maybe I would have been more arrogant, more pompous, and I don't know what else I would have become if I had both my parents. They were not believers. They just were normal churchgoers. I found Christ in the midst of all of that. For me, it was just emotional. My greatest challenges were balancing my emotions. They made sure that I got the best education. They made sure that I lived in the right areas. But I guess that's not everything for everyone, hey? I mean, you can get the best education, get the best living standards, but there's more that a person needs to be more fulfilled. And for me, it was finding Christ and having my emotions taken care of, because emotionally, as a child, I was a wreck, I would suppose. I decided to be a business person very early in my life because I grew up in a home where my parents were employed. I had the privilege of traveling with my mother to visit our relatives in Cape Town, where my aunt was a business lady. She was doing very well as a business lady, and I could see, even though she was less educated than my parents, she was doing extremely well for herself economically. And those were the people that inspired me, seeing women doing business and being able to achieve more in life and have more opportunities and different things to do. So that early years, I decided that I definitely want to be a business lady. So I then ventured into business at the age of 24. That was a year after I got married. I opened up a business with my husband, and it has been a roller coaster, but a good one, because we are following our passion, and we're just loving it. I'm living my life the way I want to live it, and I might not have everything that I want yet, but I'm enjoying every moment of it because it is what I want for myself. The greatest challenge when you're running a business is, one, lack of support from your folks or family, because it's not something they are used to. I mean, all our parents have got great posts or academically a certain path that they are following. And if you are venturing into business, it's uncharted territory. So I've had the greatest challenges of capital, raising capital for my business. Some of the challenges that I've had is to consistent turnover. It's very inconsistent, the turnover in business. So those are the main challenges and the pressures that come with running a business, not just in the business itself, but in your community and in the country as a whole. Wow, I've got a number of those. When I got married, it was a turning point for me, because remember, I come from a divorced family. Making it work, it's something else. When I had my first child, when we managed as a company to go outside of the country, experiencing the UK, China, those were real turning points in my life. I think when I actually went abroad, it gave me more confidence in saying that this business that I've decided to pursue is the way. It is the future. Because, you know, Africa, we are way behind. And going to the future, it allows you to have confidence in saying that regardless of the challenges and the economic conditions of our country, we will make it eventually. We'll definitely make it big, impact the continent, impact the globe, because Africa is the future. The world is still waiting, and they want to see Africa on the map and really becoming a continent that brings hope to the globe. And I mean, there's so many great things that have come out from Africa, and many more great things are yet to come. And that's why I'm still standing in where I am in my business, and I want to be part of that. You know what? Life is great. There's so many beautiful things out of life. I've been in that position. Remember, I told you that I was an emotional wreck myself, where I was in a position of committing suicide. No, your life is more than that. There's so many great things that one can actually look forward to. Failures, it's part of life. I think that's one of the things that we never get taught, is that failing is just one step to making it big. The more you fail, the better chances you have. You have more lessons that you can teach someone. But one thing I can tell people out there who are watching that never, ever give up. You were designed specially for a special purpose, and without you, that purpose can never be fulfilled. So live life to the fullest. Make sure that whatever your Creator drops into your spirit, you do everything within you to make sure that it comes to fruition, because you are able to make it possible, and only you know how. So I would say that life is so great. Count your blessings. I mean, the fact that you're awake and the fact that the sun rises and it sets, that on its own is enough to allow you another opportunity to explore what you want to make sure that this world benefits by you living this life. So for me, life is beautiful. I mean, I appreciate every moment. And let us be real. Whatever you ask for and whatever you know you want, somehow God is able to provide. The universe, if you want to talk universal, is able to make sure that those things happen for you. It's a matter of you deciding and making sure that you speak the word and you stick to what you want to do, and it will definitely happen. I've seen many things that I've dreamt of, things that I've written down come to pass, and I'm yet to see more, and I believe they will all be achieved in this lifetime while I'm still living. And I wanted to go on a holiday with my dad and my husband and my sisters and my children, and I never managed to achieve that. And damn to this money thing, because I think that was the only thing that was holding us back from actually having a proper holiday. I actually wanted us to be on a cruise together and just be stuck together for a good week. I think the year I was planning it, that's when he left us. And yeah, it still breaks my heart. But yeah, I guess it was God's will. We spoke about it before he died. And he tricked me and he said, no, I'm going to live until I'm 70. But at 65, he left me. Okay, so growing up as the only child for a good 14 years, then God blessed me with two other siblings, two sisters. They have been a blessing in my life. My dad had a child who's a daughter when 14 years later in October. And my mother also had another child 14 years later in August. So I was blessed with two sisters. So yeah. Remember, I was a child who always had my own world, and I was visualizing having siblings. And it happened. I mean, 14 years later, even though my parents were divorced, I was blessed with two more sisters. Everything does come true. Whoa, there are too many people. There are so many people who are pushing me. I am blessed with a whole lot of support. Relatives, family is strength. So most of my support is my family. They are countless. I could go on. My mom's family in particular, because most of them are in business. So I've been supported by a whole lot of people. I've got uncles who are doing great in Africa in the ICT sector. I've got aunts who are doing well in communications companies, some in beverage hospitality. So those people inspire me every day, and the different books I read also. I love working with young people, the youth in particular. So I always make sure that whatever little thing that I can share with them, I do share it with them. My husband and I have been working with young people in the Eastern Cape, training them to be like us, to register their own businesses, because this is something that is not still a challenge within the Black communities, to actually motivate your kids to be entrepreneurial. So we are forever inspiring young people to do their own businesses and make a living for themselves, because we have survived 11 years as a couple living off our own ideas. And I always make sure that if there's a younger person that I can impact and motivate to do the same, I definitely do it. Okay, I find myself doing a whole lot of community work. I remember when we were pitching most of our business ideas, this is when the buzzword started coming in, social entrepreneur. And I was like, I want to make money and people are telling me that I'm a social entrepreneur. But I find myself always wanting to impact communities. I think it's something that I get from my father. We have an NGO, we have got a number of them, we've got two of them. One is youth development and the other one is media development. So with our NGOs, we have gone out to orphanage homes. We seek for food from markets and we take food to them. We have gone to grassroots where we go in deep into the rural areas searching for talent. And those young people that we get in the rural areas, we make sure that we give them platforms where they can express themselves. We have been involved with government, partnered with government, we've partnered with the private sector to make sure that they get the best platforms whereby they are able to express their arts. So we have developed dancers, musicians, the works. And one of the greatest success stories is the fact that musicians that are well known now in South Africa and in Africa, like Perita and Nati, these guys, young lady and gentleman are known now in Africa. They actually were part of the platforms that we created in the rural areas, and we were there to discover them and give them an opportunity to express themselves. So we've done a lot of work at grassroots level and just giving back to our community. It gives us so much joy. It gives me so much joy when I see somebody else being inspired just because of the little things that we do. Okay, short term, I still want to just impact a young person. Right now I'm working with a very young girl, very beautiful young lady. And I want to make sure that I give of myself the best I can to her so that she could become somebody better. And those are my short-term goals. And then my medium-term goals is to make sure that the online TV station that we launched this year becomes known. At least I want to make sure that 100,000 people know about it and are watching the type of content that we have there. Mpuma Africa, Mpuma Africa. So yeah, people must be on the lookout for Mpuma Africa, because Mpuma Africa is coming out from Africa. So everything that's coming out from Africa must be known by the world. And the other thing that I want to make sure that I do is Lovolution. Lovolution is a show about love. I mean, I think we lack as a society because we lack love. We are not as loving as we used to be. And I think that's why we lack these days. And you know, it's easy to throw the word love, 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 but I just believe people don't have the deep concept of what love is. And that's where I want to see myself, sharing with the world what true love is. Love is patient, it's kind, it's gentle, doesn't keep records of wrongs. And I think just that, keeping records of wrong, it has challenged me. I used to think that I'm a very loving person, but when I started going deep into what love is, I realized that I fall short all the time. I fall short all the time. So Lovolution is what I want to make sure that the whole world knows. I want Africa to shine. I want to be there and share with the world and give hope so that people, whatever they do it with passion and love so that we can be the best at whatever we do. The funny thing is that you said we know God is there, but do we really know that God is there? Do we? I think God is the main anchor. Christ is the main anchor. We don't have a clear understanding of who he is. It's a relationship. It's love. Love is what keeps me going. The love for my kids, the love for my husband, the love for my family keeps me going. And every day I might wake up feeling a little bit, but you know what? When I think about my kids, the smile they put on my face the minute I talk to them, the minute I think about my husband, he can be very nasty sometimes, but you know, when he makes sure that I'm happy, when he puts in the effort, just that on its own keeps me going. My mother, oh, she's a darling. My sister, I can just go on about people out there. So the close-knit, the family, I think is one of the main things that keep me going. And then it becomes the community, then it becomes the country, then it becomes the continent. People keep me going. Keep smiling. It's one of my favorite quotes. No matter what life throws at you, just keep smiling. I think the world needs that more. It will keep you going. Keep smiling. My mother. Thank you, Mom, for being the best mom you can be and for ever pushing and supporting me. Love you lots. Society can influence what type of person you become. I believe that the society we live in is like soil. And when you do plant any seed, the soil that you plant it on determines if that seed is going to germinate into a proper plant that will bear fruit. So society does influence the type of person you become. There are people who grow in societies that are very hostile, societies that are not inspiring. And those people just live their quiet life that does not want to impact much. I'm a very simple person. I told you my upbringing is in a very simple country. I'm a rural girl. I still believe I'm a rural girl. Little things like being sheltered, clothed, having food, and knowing that I have a breath today makes me think, yeah, I'm cool, I'm doing great. I was born during the times of apartheid, but seeing the change, seeing the liberation of the black person in South Africa, seeing Mandela being praised by the whole world, such things give me joy because definitely there is change that is happening in our world. Being free to move, you know, being able to go to the US, Europe, Asia, it gives me so much joy. The integration of people, you know, that on its own. ICT is one of the most beautiful things that has happened to our society because it has connected the human race. So such things give me so much joy. Just seeing that, I become so content. Yeah, and we can explore that, explore it. It will take us to greater heights if we explore these changes that are happening. What pisses me off is negative publicity, you know? I don't know why the human beings like focusing on negative things. Yes, we face a whole lot of negative things. Yes, we do a whole lot of negative things, but that shouldn't be the focus. There's so many other greater things that we do, but we have a tendency to gravitate towards negativity. I know that journalism, as a student in journalism, you are taught that negativity sells. Like, who comes up with such a curriculum to say that for you to sell, make sure that you share negative news? I'm against that, and I'm saying let us rewrite the curriculum. Let us start saying that positive news sell, and let that be the stuff that we publicize. So for me, the more we focus on great things, the greater we will become as a human race. Let's have our own academic institutions, you know, and have our own curriculums. We don't have to read Maslow or Maslow hierarchy of needs. Maybe we could change them. Maybe there's many other needs that people want. Emotional needs, like I needed as a child before shelter, could change. Let's rewrite history. The person who's dropping in my spirit is an aunt who lives in the deep rural areas of Alice in Ciskei. She's been there for the family as a widow and holding everything together. She lost her husband because of AIDS, who died of natural disease, of course, but he was infected with the HIV/AIDS virus. And obviously, she's also living now. She's lived over 6 years, HIV positive. And she's the strength of the family. She's been holding that family together for some awkward reason. And I know it's not easy for her because she does not have the luxuries that we have of water and sanitation and lights and a stable finances that come in every month. They still have to work the land. But there's some beauty in that. Sometimes when you don't have all the accessories, the glitz and glamours, you are able to be more in touch with your heart. So I just want to inspire those people who have less material things, but are living life. That life is not about all the material. And continue to live, continue to do what you are doing, no matter how small it may appear in your eyes. It is great. Because when I think about that aunt who is in the rural areas, we can call the rural areas still our home even today, even though we are all urbanized. When we go back to the rural areas, we know that we've got a home because of her and her living there and raising her kids there. I think for us as a human race, as we advance and we think we're becoming more advanced, we're losing our roots and we're looking down on the rural people and the rural lifestyle. But funny enough, when you have hit the ceiling economically, there's a tendency that having a ranch and living organically and all of that is then the pinnacle of life. However, we still look down on those people who are living in the rural areas, who are living that life. I mean, that's the basic standard living of an African person. And these days we look down on it. So I think those are the type of people I want to inspire now, to say that even if you walk on that dirt road, don't look down on yourself. Know you are great. Know that you are needed. Know that you are more than enough. And be confident, regardless whether you live in a mud house. There's scientific things that have not been spoken about the benefits of living in a mud house vis-a-vis a brick and mortar type of house. Those things we still have to unearth and be real and talk about them. So, and stop looking down on them. So that's the type of people I think I want to talk to right now and say that you can come from a dusty road, but in you lies greatness. Wow, I love the name. It connects to what I just said. Gold is something that you get in a very dusty environment, under soil and many layers of soil. To the gold team, guys, keep on doing what you are doing. This is basically what we were talking about. I wish that you guys could take this beyond your boundaries to everyone. And may you have more people that you can equip to have multiple cameras rolling in multiple areas. And may God strengthen you and just keep on going, keep on going. You're doing great work. Already what I'm seeing here today is very professional. And I'm sure we will hear more about gold as I grow. Hey, Anga. Hey. Ole, Rita, and Tandy. Those are my kids and my siblings. Love you guys. Take care. And my hubby, of course, is right here. I always say shout out to him. I love you, baby. I love you. Thank you very much. Prayer, persistence, passion. Go for gold.